bigger surge. The Biden administration is considering ending Title 42. That was a Trump-era order that allowed faster deportations of migrants at the border due to the pandemic. The rule will expire in 2 days, which means a lot of people who are waiting in Mexico would have more of a reason to come across. This is U.S. Border Patrol Chief Raul Ortiz says the U.S. is on track to hit 1 million illegal immigrant border crossings in the past 6 months. 1 million in 6 months. There have been over 838,000 migrant encounters since the fiscal year began in October, and the migrants have come from 157 different countries. Just over the past 24 hours, the Border Patrol says they have apprehended 2 sex offenders, a convicted murderer, and a U.S. citizen wanted for murder attempting to evade capture in Mexico, illegally crossing the Rio Grande. We bring in Ali Bradley, independent journalist, who is working on the border crisis. Ali, it feels like the more people the Border Patrol encounter, that must mean the more people who get through the net because all the agents are busy.
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right in thinking that and saying that, Leland, because we know that for the most part, border agents have been inside processing because they have just been so inundated with these illegal crossings. Now, I was told that some people got back into the field because, Leland, as we last spoke, they've been taking a lot of people out of facilities and moving them, partly in anticipation for Title 42 ending, making some space right now. And we are seeing that exactly happening across the board. But I'm going to tell you, we went over to Acuña today. We went over to the Mexico side to see, are there thousands of people just sitting along the border? And they are not. Right now, the director of the economic development there, Luis Arraza, telling me that a lot of them have distributed throughout Acuña. Some of them are even living in rented homes in Acuña right now, basically waiting for Title 42 to come to an end, and they can try to come over across the border.
All right, challenges for border agents, short on staffing, every sector busier than 2021. Obviously, there's huge COVID concerns. What are your sources inside the Border Patrol saying happens if all of a sudden Title 42 ends?
Right now, I mean, I've been talking extensively with these law enforcement officials, Leland, and every single one of them says it will absolutely break them. It will be devastating to lose Title 42 because they say that it helps deport people. What are they deporting them under otherwise if there is not a policy in place? So they're very worried about what could happen because over the last year, over the last 5 months, we've seen a massive surge of people and they just can't contain it. We've seen it. We know, even Chief Ortiz, we know right now that it is too much for them to handle and it could only get worse.
When they say it will break them, what does that mean? At some point, they just stop patrolling?
Well, sheriffs don't have a lot of authority to really come in because this is a federal issue, Leland. So a lot of times they kind of just supplement Border Patrol. So when they're doing that and they're working alongside Border Patrol and they're out here, looking when Sheriff Joe Frank Martinez is over driving around by the border wall to see if migrants are out there, which we saw today, that keeps him from his community. That keeps the local law enforcement from patrolling their communities. All the law enforcement officials say their communities are safe, but they're worried about what could happen if these numbers just keep going up.
Last week when we talked to you, there had been this new policy of dropping off illegal immigrants, not at airports and not at bus stations with tickets out of town, but in these very small communities, Uvalde, Texas, and others inland from the border. Has that continued? What's happening in these cities?
So basically, from what I understand, there's not really additional migrants going to those smaller facilities. They basically cleared those facilities out. They have not really added migrants to the Carrizo Springs area and to the Uvalde detention center. So those are two things that, because they don't have public transportation, they really have no way to move these people out of these small communities. They have kind of shifted people. But it's really interesting because just the other day, there were 3,000 people sitting at the Eagle Pass detention center, and within hours, they were gone. So when they want to move people, they move people.
Yeah, and you've done a great job reporting where those people go in the video, both from the bus stations and from the airports where they're released on their own recognizance out into the United States. And now we wait, and I know you'll be on the border for what happens with Title 42. Ali, thank you.
Thank you, Leland.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.